Good morning, everyone. And for those watching in Hungary, good evening, good night. It's Saturday. The Niners play tomorrow. I'm Grant Cohn. I'm with Botond, the Hungarian correspondent here on my YouTube channel. And I always like to talk to Botond the day before the game and see where his head is at and what's on his mind. Today, we're thinking injuries because yesterday the Niners were blindsided by another one, Jimmy Ward, guy they thought was going to be healthy, hurt himself in practice. He's done that a lot of times in his career. And now the Niners are down like 8 starters on defense from last year, plus a bunch of guys on offense. Botond, what do you make of all these injuries?
First of all, hey everyone, I'm glad to be here again. At first, I don't know. We are quite unlucky, I think, right now. On the defense, I can't say anything special why these injuries happen. First time when we talked about the training staff. I think that's still an issue. We just can't afford more losses on the defense, especially when we are talking about safeties. Not so many people talks about it, but Tart is the heart of this defense. He is the unsung hero of this defense, as I would say that, because you don't recognize him when he is on the field, but you will surely recognize when he is not. I remember last year when Tart wasn't on the field, the enemy QBs has about 110 QB rating, and when he was on the field, it was only just 70. So yep. He makes.
I like how you call him the enemy QB, not the opposing QB. I'm gonna start doing that as well. Because he is the enemy. I like that.
I just couldn't find the word. So
no, that's a better word. I like that. So Tart is the most important player and the biggest loss on the defense. Yeah, most people would say Nick Bosa, D Ford, but it's interesting. I mean, the stats back it up. When he's on the field, their pass defense is pretty much airtight, and when he's not, good luck.
Yeah. I think he make a huge difference on this defense, and not so many people recognize that because most of the time, if the defense is great, then the safety doesn't have so much job. But in this defense, Tart has a huge role. He's a kind of an all-around player. I remember before we drafted him, nobody knew who was that guy, Jack Whiskey Tart. Nobody could even spell his name right. So
right.
He was kind of an unknown guy, but he made a huge game before the draft, and after that, we drafted him in the second round. Everybody said that it was a reach. After 2 years, I think then we wouldn't say that anymore. So
I think he's similar to Fred Warner in the sense that he's actually very smart. He studies a lot of film, and you can put a lot on his plate in the sense that he'll play strong safety, or he can play free safety in the middle of the field, which allows you to move Jimmy Ward around. He can play man coverage. He can play zone coverage. He's a sure tackler when he doesn't hurt himself. The only thing he doesn't do is like consistently take the ball away from the other team. But that would make him, if he could do that, he would be an all-pro. That aside, he's like an A- player. He's a hell of a player. I think part of it is that who his backup is. Marcel Harris isn't nearly as solid.
No.
Nick Bosa's backup is terrific. Kerry Hyder is solid, beyond solid. But Marcel Harris, I don't know. Sometimes he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. He got eaten alive by Drew Brees, but he played against the Ravens, who are similar offensively to the Patriots, and forced a fumble. Was part of a defensive effort that gave up 20 points. So I'm not going to write the Niners off because they don't have Tart this weekend, but it's an interesting point you make for sure.
Yeah, and it could be the most interesting point if Cam Newton plays decently against us, I think, because we know that Cam can do that. Last week, he was bad, but I think it was mainly because he didn't have any training after the COVID. So it was mainly because of that. But I have some trust in Harris. I think he's an aggressive player. He can be a playmaker as well. I think that he can surely do more takeaways than Tart did in the past, but he will make more mistakes than Tart made.
It'll be interesting to see what happens also because we know the Patriots want to run the ball as much as possible.
Yeah.
And if you're replacing Ward with Tavarius Moore, Moore is good at a lot of things, but tackling is his biggest weakness. So it might be interesting in this game, especially on first and second down, if you play Harris and Cyprian, a couple of strong safeties who are tackling specialists. And then when on third down, maybe take one out and bring into, I don't know. Because if Moore's in the game, I'm nervous about his tackling. I'm nervous about the angles he's taking and all that.
Yeah, but Cheney said that he has some plans for the safety position. He didn't say exactly what it is, but I'm interested in it. So,
well, that's a very interesting take. Go ahead. What'd you say?
I'm waiting for a surprise from Cheney. So
me too. Well, I like what you the saying that Tart was the most important player in the defense was definitely surprising. What do you think is the most important injury in the offense right now?
Raheem Mostert.
Yeah,
Raheem Mostert. I think that he is the engine of that offense right now because he has such a unique skill set. He is really strong. He has really fast legs. He is explosive. I think there's no one else in this roster right now who is as explosive and as strong and fast as Mostert is. That he has such a unique skill set right now. The only reason why I wouldn't say he's an elite player is because he's really, really injury prone.
Mm-hmm. Right. But when he's healthy and on the field and the Niners are giving him the ball consistently, they're really hard to beat. I mean, they can beat anyone. And when they don't have him, it's almost like they have to discover or invent a way to win a game that's not comfortable for them. They have to pass more. They have to get the ball to players they don't trust as much.
Yeah, and we saw that last week. After Mostert went out from the game, it was like we don't have a B plan for that.
Right.
The offense struggled after that. We had to give the ball into Jimmy's hands, who is not so confident and still not consistent enough to win harder matches.
Right. So we're talking about injuries. Big picture. Is there something you're noticing with the way the Niners? I mean, we talked about the training staff. Was there something about the outside zone that you wanted to mention?
I became one of my friends asked a question last week, and it was, what do I think could the inside and outside zone scheme that we are using cause injuries in the offensive line? And I did the research about it. I have spoken with physiotherapists, with doctors about it. We analyzed the game while we are using outside zone and when we are not. It's important to say that outside and inside zone blocking right now is a trend in the NFL. Last year, 3 of the 4 teams from the AFC and NFC championships were using mostly more than 55% of their run game, the inside and outside zone. And
easy to install. It's real easy to install. Yeah. Simple stuff.
Yeah. And you don't have to use a prototype offensive linemen, so they can be undersized because you can easily make double and triple teams in the defense. But there's a concern because our offensive linemen have to move much more than a normal offensive lineman does.
True.
And
more running, yes.
Yeah, they have to do blocks even on the second and sometimes on the third level. And we use a lot of tackle pulls and things like that where they must run so much more as well. Yeah.
Yep.
And the reason, because that's a concern, is that offensive linemen are not born, they are made. Mm-hmm. Their body type is not natural. It's artificially built up.
True.
We saw that when there was some retired offensive linemen who lost a lot of weight.
Joe Staley
retired.
Joe Staley currently looks like he weighs 210 pounds. You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
He looks like you.
And that's such an unnatural shape. And it puts a lot of stress into their legs, mainly onto the lower parts of the legs. Last year, Staley broke his fibula, as I remember, and McGlinchey has also some knee problems.
Yep.
This year, Richburg is just getting healthier after those surgeries.
Trent
As
Williams has an ankle injury.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what I want to say that is the offensive linemen are hard or a high risk position when we are talking about leg injuries. But if we are using zone blocking schemes, we put so much more stress onto their legs that it would be a huge problem in the future. I think right now we don't have a huge sample of teams that were using zone blocking schemes only for more than 5 or 10 years. There were some, I think, Denver Broncos with Mike Shanahan and other teams like that. But what doctors said and what the physiotherapists said was they don't think that these linemen can keep up the high level of play in the NFL for more than 8 or 7 years.
Right. It's just so demanding what they have to eat more than they should. They have to run more than they should at that weight. It's everything about it is unnatural. Very interesting.
Yeah, and most of the injuries are stress injuries.
Yes.
So they are having some micro injuries which you can not see when you are doing simple scanning with the medical staff. But if they are just stressing those injuries more and more and more, they could be big. They could become bigger, and that's what's happening right now, I think.
That's a very interesting consideration. And the other thing with the injuries, we've talked about it before, is the setbacks.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the Niners, like, if you get a serious injury, there's like a 1 in 2 chance that you're going to have like 8 setbacks. Ronald Blair, he tore his ACL last year. He re-signed with the 49ers on a 1-year deal. God knows why. And because he trusted the training staff. Comes back, has a setback. They try to like fast forward him, fast track him to week 1, doesn't work. Now he may not play at all. It's like, do you wonder if he regrets signing with the 49ers or if he wishes he had gone to another team so he could have had a better chance to get back on the field?
I'm absolutely sure about that.
What is going on?
I don't know. Kai said that they messed up something in his leg. I was
what?
Like, what the heck?
What does that mean? Yeah. You're a professional. You're a professional football organization. You're messing things up consistently. I don't understand what's going on with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bad sign. I mean, how many people have had to start? Also, what does that mean for Nick Bosa? Everyone's assuming Nick Bosa is going to be back week 1 next year.
He had an ACL before, and they repaired it, and he could use it 100%. I think right now he could be a bit concerned, and I'm a bit concerned as well.
Yep. All right. Well, look, before we get to the Patriots matchup, let's get into let's quickly.
Oh. Just a minute.
I can still hear you though.
Okay, just a minute.
Oh, he's back. All right, yeah. You're good. My question is, before we get into the Patriots matchup, let's quickly go through the Rams game real quick because I haven't talked to you really since that game. What were your major takeaways from what you saw?
First of all, I have to say that I got back some trust in Kyle Shanahan. He was great.
Right, he was great. Yes.
Great. The game plan was decent. He artificially built up Jimmy's stats, so normal NFL watchers or fans wouldn't realize that it wasn't Jimmy, it was just Kyle. So come on, Jimmy had, if I remember well, 268 passing yards, and 226 from it was yards after catch. So
yeah,
basically Jimmy just passed 34 yards the ball, or 44, or I don't remember. I remember that I wrote it to you when we were watching the game that night. Yes. OMG, yes. I was that night. I pretty like that, but I'm concerned because in the second half when Mostert went out, it was like the game plan fell apart because we were missing Mostert. Yeah. So I'm still waiting for this week that what will happen without him. On the other side, Salah is a genius.
Isn't he?
Yes. Yeah. I must say that. I don't know if you remember that, but in the first quarter, there was a play when Goff went to the field before in the pre-snap read, he read the defense, he recalled the game, and the defense just instantly set up. They set up themselves again, and then Goff recalled the game, and they did it again. So Salah made a wonderful game plan. He just made Goff lost his confidence again. So it was the Goff from last year, not this year, and it was huge. I pretty like that. It was fantastic.
Robert Saleh's doing such a good job. People were ready to fire him a few weeks ago, but I think people realized, like, hey, he's missing 8 of 11. The only starters he has left are Emmanuel Mosley, Eric Armstead, and Fred Warner. That's it. He's working with backups across the board and he just held the Rams to 16 points. What a coach. Yeah. He's not just a motivational speaker.
Nope. And the other one who I pretty liked on that match was Jason Verrett. Oh. He is playing like an all-pro right now. I think he right now, if I must say a name that who is going to be the comeback player of the year, I would say Jason Verrett.
I would agree. He's the biggest addition on this team right now. Not Trent Williams. Jason Verrett. This kid. Guy, man.
He was fantastic, and Mosley was fantastic as well. Except
they're a good tandem.
Yeah.
They're a good tandem.
Yeah, and I was concerned if I should start Mosley or Richard Sherman when he comes back. But after all, Mosley or Richard Sherman when Sherman is getting available.
Yeah.
No, I would start Sherman, and as we said, it's just because Sherman is capable of getting the team the ball more.
True.
That's the only right now.
But here's the thing. If the Niners had played Jason Verrett week 1 against the Cardinals, I think they win that game. Win that game. He's that important. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the Patriots game. This is, I think, going to be a fascinating game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a playoff type game. And whichever team loses, I think is basically done for the year. Whichever team loses this game, I wouldn't be surprised if they start selling off their players. Like the Patriots, they lose. I wouldn't be surprised if they traded Gilmore and anyone who's good, because they're going to be 2-4. Niners too. If they lose this game, they might trade Tart or someone like that. So what intrigues you about this matchup, and what matchups are you watching for?
Well, first of all, my favorite matchup of the game is going to be Jimmy against Bill Belichick.
Ooh, I like that one.
Because Bill is a defensive mastermind in the league, I think, and there's no one who knows Jimmy better than Belichick.
Right.
And if I were Bill Belichick, I would do anything to take that confidence from Jimmy that he built up last week.
Because it's shaky anyway. It's shaky.
Yeah. And I wouldn't allow him to do any check down passes. I would put them a dime into the field. I would just step up with 5 defensive backs and only 1 linebacker, and I would send that linebacker to blitz every single time. Every single time, and hit Jimmy every single time.
Yeah.
I would make him so uncomfortable. I would make him scared, and I would want to have that Jimmy from the first week against Cardinals,
or Jimmy from 2 weeks ago against the Dolphins.
Yeah. If Bill can do that, then they will win that game, I think, and that's the most important matchup right now. Of course, Kai can help Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, another one real quick. How about Mike McGlinchey against Chase Winovich? Mike McGlinchey's like over here doing a victory lap because he had one decent game. I mean, he like gave himself props so fast on Twitter. Now he's got a real tough matchup. And if he can't hold his own, then Jimmy has no chance. So that's another one.
Yeah. But on the other side, if Mike will struggle, I think Kyle will just put even Kyle Juszczyk or George Kittle as an extra blocker on that side. But I must say that I think right now that McGlinchey will suffer against.
I do too. He's taking the victory lap just a little early.
Yeah.
Have 2 good games in a row first before you tell everyone that you're still here.
Yeah. Yeah, on the other side, I don't know what will we do if we are not going to have Trent. If I remember well, he is doubtful right now. Am I right?
Who?
Trent Williams.
Oh, he's questionable. I think he's going to play. I don't know how well he'll play. He hasn't played well all year, really, but I think he's going to play. No.
I still can't understand the grade from Pro Football Focus.
Well, I mean, the guy, he didn't play last year. He didn't have preseason. I guess it was to be expected that he'd be rusty. But how long is it going to take? It's almost been 2 months, man. Anytime you want to step it up. What about on the Niners defense against the Patriots offense?
Well, I'm faithful right now because Patriots just doesn't have any good wide receivers right now. There are no elite wide receivers. On the other side, we are struggling against mobile quarterbacks in the last 2 years. And if Cam knows something pretty well, is that he knows how to run the football. And there's a reason why they didn't let him run the ball last time against Broncos. And I think it's because they want us not to realize that Cam can do that, and he can do that pretty well. Because there are not so many playmakers on the Patriots right now. I would say that if Cam can run the ball, it can win them the match.
Yeah, and not just Cam. I mean, they have running backs too. Rex Burkhead, Sony Michel, Damian Harris. And those guys all stunk last year. But you put Cam in the backfield, and it makes all of them tough to stop, kind of like Baltimore. I'm curious to see. But again, you're right. They have to stop Cam. And so the matchup that I think is most interesting to me on that side is now that Jason Verrett's on the field and Richard Sherman's out, the Niners play a ton of man-to-man coverage, which they didn't do when Sherman was. They played mostly zone with Sherman. Now with Verrett, it's mostly man. Very aggressive, which is great. But against a mobile quarterback, that means everyone's turning and running and turning their back to the guy who's going to run the ball. So if you play man-to-man coverage against a quarterback like Cam Newton, you have to spy him. You have to assign one player to just stand there and watch him and follow him if he bolts the pocket. And I think the Niners have that guy. Now, against Kyler Murray, they don't. Kyler Murray is super fast. But Cam isn't super fast. He's a good runner. But he's like George Kittle, or he's like a big running back. I think Fred Warner is the perfect spy for Cam Newton. I think he can run with Cam Newton. I think he can take Cam Newton down. He can hurt Cam Newton. So if the Niners do the right thing, they should be set up to stop him.
I wouldn't give up Fred Warner for that. I would just put Dre Greenlow to do that.
Okay, fair enough. Either one. Yeah.
He is the perfect run stopper right now in this team. I think that he can hit the strongest right now. And if you want Cam not to run the ball, just hit him as hard as you can. And after that, he will think twice before he runs the ball.
Yeah, I'm with you. Greenlaw is faster than Warner, and he probably does hit harder than Warner. He's really good. Either one, really. Either one. But I don't think Tavarius Moore, you would put him in. I don't know if he's fast. I don't know if he's strong enough. He's fast enough. I don't know if he's strong enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so are there any other matchups you're looking at, or should we go straight to the predictions and explain why?
Yeah, I think that Bill Belichick praised George Kittle a lot.
Let's do that one. Yeah. And
what I think is, if I don't know if you remember when Tony Gonzalez was an All-Pro.
Yep.
Back in New Year's. And
of course.
What Bill Belichick did against Tony Gonzalez.
Praise him, shut him down.
He put two men against him in his face, and they just didn't let him cross the line of scrimmage. So I think they will try to do that again. I remember that Matt Patricia did that against Rob Gronkowski when the Lions played against the Patriots some years ago, and they did it pretty well. I think the only difference between Rob Gronkowski and Tony Gonzalez against George Kittle is that George is way more athletic, and I think that he is stronger than both of them.
Yeah, I'm with you. They're going to have a very interesting plan to shut down George Kittle. That's going to be really interesting. And to me, like the key for the Niners isn't to get Kittle the ball; it's to get other people the ball. Spread the ball around. Don't force the issue, because to me, the Niners have much better weapons than the Patriots. The Niners are like too deep at every spot. The Patriots have some running backs. That's what they got. So just spread it around. You don't have to win throwing the ball to Kittle. You can get him a few catches, but that is one thing that I'm looking for. And one more matchup that I think is interesting. You said Jimmy versus Belichick. How about Kyle versus Belichick? How about Kyle versus? Hey, let me real quick. He's facing 3 times.
That's another interesting one, because Kyle can help out Jimmy so much in this game. I think he has to be creative, because I'm sure that in his free time, Bill Belichick does just watching the tapes. So he knows our schemes well. He knows our team well. I think the only way that we can beat him on the offensive side of the ball is that we have to use everything in our playbook. Guy has to be creative. He has to give the ball to Debo. He has to give the ball to Ayuk. He has to give the ball to Kittle, no matter how. To Dwelly, maybe.
Use check. I'm telling you, because real quick, the strength of the Patriots defense is their cornerbacks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it might be tough to get the ball to any wide receiver. It's going to be tough to get the ball to Kittle, but you can get the ball to Dwelly. You can get the ball to use check. Any of your running backs out of the backfield, there's options.
Yeah, and I'm pretty interested. I'm excited about JaMycal Hasty, because I think he could have a great time against Patriots. He has so different style than any other running backs we have. He is a pretty small guy, but he is explosive. He is versatile. I think he can do everything with the ball. Of course, he is not as strong or fast as Raheem Mostert is, but he can just break knees and ankles, and I would like to watch that.
Real quick, I want to come back to the matchup between Shanahan and Belichick. They faced each other 3 times going back the last 11 years. The first time, Shanahan scored 34 points. The second time, I think he scored 27. The third time, it was the Super Bowl, he scored 21. So what I'm seeing is Bill Belichick's figuring it out. He's doing a little bit better each time. And what he did in the Super Bowl was get smacked around in the first half and then shut down Kyle Shanahan in the second half. And so what Shanahan needs to do against Belichick, what every offensive coach needs to do against Belichick, is you can't just have a game plan. You can't just have a plan A, because Belichick is more experienced than you. He's smarter than you. He'll see it. And by halftime, he'll adjust to it every time. So you have to have an ability to adjust off of his adjustments. Whatever he shows in the second half, you got to have a plan B too. You have a game plan A and a game plan B. And if they complement each other, you win. If they don't, you're going to lose. And Sean McVay learned that in the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan learned that in the Super Bowl. It's a whole chess match with Bill Belichick, and it's not over when the game starts. It's continuous.
Yeah, that's why I said that Kyle must be creative. He has to change in every single minute. He has to be consistently good with every single call, because if he's not, then it is going to be a disaster, I think.
And again, with Kyle and McVay, the way I look at them is like they have very smart people helping them out. Like, Mike Shanahan during the week, Kyle could call his dad and be like, "Hey, Dad, what do you think? What do you think of my game plan?" And they can kind of,
work together, work it out.
Like if I could call my dad, if I'm writing something, I could call my dad and be like, "Dad, would you read this? Would you edit this?" And it could be like a group effort. When you're on the field in the game, you can't call your dad. You got to really adjust on the fly yourself. Can you do it? I don't know. I haven't seen that from Sean McVay. And so from Kyle, we're going to have to see that this week. Otherwise, the Niners are going to lose. So who do you think is going to win this game and why? Let's wrap it up right there.
It's so hard.
It's hard.
So hard. It's way harder than it was last week when I said that I'm still faithful. I must say that it's we against the Rams. Right now, I'm still faithful. I became so much back from Kyle last week. Salah was amazing as well. I think we can win this match, but every mistake could just cost us this game.
Yep. Look, I'm going with the Niners, and I have like 5 reasons. Let me tell me if you think any of these are wrong. The way it looks to me is two run-first teams. Two teams with quarterbacks that, I don't know. I mean, how confident is either team in their quarterback right now? How confident is either quarterback right now? So both teams want to run the ball as much as possible. Both teams have excellent run games. I mean, the Niners are missing Mostert, but as you said, Hasty looks really good. And a lot of what the Niners do on offense is scheme anyway. So what I look at is the run defense. Which team has a better run defense? And it's the Niners. Patriots have a good run defense. The Niners have a better run defense. They're both good, but the Niners run defense ranks 8th right now. They're giving up 4.1 yards per carry. They have maybe the best middle linebacker in football. They're missing Bosa, but the replacement, Kerry Hyder, excellent run defender. Kinlaw, good run defender. Same with Armstead. So I think the Niners should do a good job against this Patriots run defense. Then when you get to the passing game, the Niners have better weapons in the pass game. It's not even close. I can't even name the Patriots tight end. Their number 3 wide receiver stinks. Their number 2 wide receiver is young and not getting the ball. And they have Edelman. That's it. And then so again, if you can do a good job against the Patriots run game and hone in on Edelman, where else does he go? He wants to scramble at that point. And then so the Niners just basically have to keep him in the pocket, which has been an adventure for them. But keep him in the pocket and make him play quarterback and put him into a pocket passing contest with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy should win that. I mean, Jimmy has his own issues, but he's a more accurate quarterback than Cam Newton. And then, I mean, the Niners you never have the coaching advantage against the Patriots, but at least they can go toe-to-toe there. At least the Niners aren't going to be totally out-coached. So that's me saying the Niners are going to win by 3 points in a very low-scoring game.
Well, I didn't have any problem with that. I think all what you said stands. The only argument I have is that I don't think that we have a better run defense right now. The only reason why I say that is the Patriots defense has much more physicality than we have. And we struggled last week against the Rams when they ran the ball. We can struggle again easily.
True.
We can struggle again easily. It is not going to be so easy as it was last week against Rams. I like
the Niners linebackers better than the Patriots linebackers. That's where I would start. But yeah, the Patriots have a good D-line too.
Yeah, but remember that we have pretty good linebackers, but they are not as physical as the Patriots linebackers.
They're more sideline to sideline.
Yeah, they are more sideline to sideline. There is not a real inside linebacker, not a real middle linebacker in this team. We have just pretty versatile, mobile, and good tacklers, but they can just easily be beaten by harder, stronger offensive linemen right now, or maybe with a good fullback.
Well, if the Patriots come out and average 5 yards a carry, they're going to win. So it'll be really, I think it's going to come down to that battle right there. Can the Niners take away their run game? They did a good job. Again, I keep coming back to their game they played against the Ravens last year because it seems like that's how you have to play the Patriots. You can't come out with the wide 9. There's no point because you're going to get gashed. You got to put 5 guys in the line, 6 guys in the line, and play a totally different style of defense. They did it last year. They've had practice. They know what's coming. They're very well coached. Fred Warner's pretty good. I'm going with the Niners.
I'm still going with the Niners.
Yeah.
The only thing that I say is the key could be if we can stop the run game or we are not. Because if we can not stop their run game, I think they can just outrun us. They can just control the clock, and they can do just everything we want to do with them.
If they run the ball and take an early lead, it could be a blowout loss for the Niners. It could be like the Dolphins game. One of the things I think was key for the Niners against the Rams is they got the ball first. They scored on their first possession. They didn't fall behind because Shanahan this year hasn't shown the conviction to stay with his run game when he's down a couple of scores, which he should because it's the whole offense. So if the Patriots can, get the ball first, score early, maybe get Shanahan to abandon his run game, game's over. So yeah, it all comes down to that Patriots run game because there's not a lot they do in the pass game. Cam's inaccurate. He doesn't have weapons. Make him play quarterback. That is it for the 49ers. Make him play quarterback.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, like not having Nick Bosa, not having Dee Ford, It's not that big of a deal in this game. Like,
Nope.
you don't need to rush him. Just keep him in that freaking pocket and make a throw. Make a throw.
Yeah, just make a great contain. Don't let him get out of that, and just wait him to pass the ball, because he will make mistakes. He is rusty. He is pretty rusty right now, and you have to abuse that, I think.
And even when he's not rusty, he's scattershot. Even when he completes a pass, it's not in stride. I mean, it's just, I don't like the way he throws the ball. I never have. And they've improved his completion percentage throughout the years by just giving him more check down options and like playing him with Christian McCaffrey. Doesn't make him a good thrower.
No.
I mean, it's not like he's Lamar Jackson. And the Niners did a pretty good job against Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
So
but he is way slower than Lamar was.
Yeah. All right, Botond. Well, I got to go write an article. But I love this weekly segment we do, and I love that you are dressed up so nicely. Tell everyone where you are real quick, because you're in a new location.
Yeah, right now, and I'm at my grandparents' house. It's about 100 miles away from Budapest, where I live in. I came here for the weekend. We did some work together with my grandfather. I pretty like that. So I stayed here until Sunday. I go back to Budapest tomorrow, and I will watch the game there.
Are you in Transylvania right now?
Nope. It's still Hungary.
Does Transylvania really exist? Is that a real place?
Yeah. It really exists. It's in Romania. That's next to Hungary. It was a part of Hungary for a couple hundred years. We lost it after Trianon because Hungary just don't know which side to choose when there's a great war. That's why after the Second World War, we was a part of the Soviet Union.
I see.
It's destroyed us. That's why most of the Hungarian people doesn't speak any foreign languages. They even don't speak Hungarian, most of them. Sorry, guys, but that's the truth.
They must speak Russian?
Most of the people who are speaking foreign languages here and who are older, they speak Russian. I think my first foreign language was German, so I learned English by myself.
Nice.
Mostly, so.
All right. Well, hey, enjoy the game tomorrow. If you have any friends from Transylvania, say hello to them for us, because I never met anyone from Transylvania, but I never met anyone from Hungary either, so it's always a pleasure.
Okay.
All right, man. I'll see you next week, and I'll be tweeting at you during the game.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I will.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Goodbye, guys.
Take care.